Hello everyone, welcome back again. Now let's learn more about the job growth projections and opportunities in the European cannabis industry. And to address this topic, let's welcome Andy Mansfield. He is the managing director at EUCannaJobs. Hi Andy, nice to meet you here.
Hello, Sargam. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And thank you everyone for joining us. Let me just share my screen real quick. See if we can get this to work correctly again. Sorry about that. Okay, great. There we go. So, like Sargam said, I'm with EUCannaJobs, and I am the managing director there. I was actually a physician in the U.S. before I moved to Berlin, but I've been in Berlin now for about 2 years working on this project. And so, like Sargam mentioned, we're going to be talking about the European cannabis market and how it relates to the job opportunities in the tech industry. So, some of you may be aware that Germany's been moving towards legalizing cannabis in Europe and has already legalized medical cannabis a few years ago, back in 2017. And a lot of other European countries have also already legalized medical cannabis, which has been a growing industry since around 2017, 2018, when the legalization started for medical cannabis. And now many countries are looking at adult use recreational, which will cause the market to basically explode when that starts happening. Projections are that Germany will have adult use recreational market in 2024, and several other countries are looking like they'll be right at that same timeline. So how big will the European market be? Well, these estimates are all over the place, but the one up here on the top right, you see one report saying the global cannabis market will be around $90 billion by 2026. And some estimates are lower, but clearly that's a big number. And the European cannabis market could reach 52 billion by 2027. Some estimates put it much lower, but once again, the overall point here is that it's definitely going to be a huge market, and most likely it'll be the biggest growth industry in Europe for the next several decades. So what does that mean, though, for jobs created? Once again, these are estimates, and it's kind of hard to know for sure. But one study about a year ago in Germany predicted that by legalization in Germany, it would add 27,000 jobs and about 5 billion euros to the German economy. And this other report showed that by 2025, you could expect to have 97,000 jobs in the UK, 27,000 jobs in Germany, and 35,000 in Italy. And that was predicted on just the medical cannabis market. Obviously, this is only 3 countries, and it's leaving out a lot of other places that already have legalization or medical markets in place. Portugal is currently very active in the cultivation or growing space. They have over 300 licenses and pre-licenses right now for cultivation there, of which only about 20 to 30 are actively cultivating right now. So point being, there's a lot of growth happening all over Europe, and these 160,000 or so jobs mentioned in this one article is just scratching the surface. You've got Poland and many other countries who are looking at legalization and medical markets. Currently, the only 2 countries who are not looking at legalization are Hungary and France, but France is already doing a medical cannabis experimental market, so there's movement everywhere in Europe. So what types of jobs will there be in the cannabis industry? This is a tech forum, so first of all, there is all kinds of tech jobs all throughout the cannabis industry. From the very beginning with cultivation, it's a very tech intensive and data intensive process at this point. It used to be you grew something outdoors, but now cannabis is grown indoors in greenhouses or in warehouses, and every variable from CO2 to pH to sunlight to nutrients, everything is closely monitored. So that's very tech intensive. And then you have the tracking system where you're tracking the seed all the way until the product is in the hands of a consumer, and sales and all these different things are very data and tech intensive. But right here, we're talking about two different types of jobs, plant touching and auxiliary. So plant touching are the types of jobs where you actually touch the cannabis plant. So those are the cultivation facility. We have cultivators, agronomists, trimmers, and different people like that. But even within that, you do have a lot of tech going on. Then you have distributors and dispensaries where you also have, which are also plant touching, but once again, you do have a lot of tech jobs there. And then you have the auxiliary. So you have two different types of the auxiliary or non-plant touching. One is kind of the more professional side, where you have legal, accounting, production manager, supply chain, things along those lines. Also, human resources falls into there, and marketing. And these are also, once again, involving a lot of tech. And then the facility auxiliary, where you have the people who are in those other facilities, such as cultivation, dispensaries, and places like that, who are not actually plant touching, but still in the same space as where the plants are. So everything from cleaning staff up to the IT and marketing and security. So how do you find out about these jobs? If you go to our website, EUCannaJobs.com, you can actually search for different types of jobs, search the companies, look up articles about the industry, what's happening in the different countries, so that you can be more aware of what's going on in the industry and just find these jobs. There are many different ways you can search on the job search function. You can do it by country, by the type of job, whether it's full-time, remote, part-time. You can also search by terms such as data analyst or stack developer and different things like that. And also on our website, you can also subscribe to the newsletter. That will give you updates on new companies that are joining, also new jobs that are coming out. Right now, we don't have any companies in the UK signed up for our platform. But we've been in talks with some, so probably in the next few weeks, we'll start having some UK jobs also available on our platform. You can also create an account and upload your CV, and if a job comes across that matches your CV, then we'll try and match you with that job also. In the booth earlier, we had people asking also about how it works with getting visas for working in the EU. That's up to the individual companies, but many are happy to sponsor qualified candidates to come in and help them out with their jobs. So, definitely just because you're not in the right country or, in the current country that you're looking for, doesn't mean you shouldn't apply. If you are a good fit, the company will do what they can to get you over there. So here's one quote that I'd read, which I think is very important when it comes to jobs in general. Passion is the difference between having a job and having a career. So anyone can go find a job, but you're not going to last long in that job if you don't enjoy it and have some passion for it. The cannabis industry, I think, is a place where a lot of people can find some passion for that job because it's helping people, it's interesting, and it's also an exploding industry right now. So a lot of opportunities and a lot of fun to be had. We're out of time, so we're going to cut it off here. And if you have any questions, you can reach us at EUCannaJobs.com. You can also send us an email at info@EUCannaJobs.com. And we'll also be in the booth after this.
Yeah, thank you, Andy, for this informative session. But if you, as you have mentioned about the cannabis industry, and you have mentioned it's a billion-dollar industry, right? In future. So, but if we talk about cannabis, then one thing comes, in front of us, which is prohibition, right? So I would like to know what's your view on this. Is there any chance of Europe may suffer from federal prohibition of medical cannabis like we saw in US? So what's your view on this?
Yeah, so almost every country in Europe now has a medical cannabis. It's been legal in the UK since November of 2018. It's been legal in Germany and numerous other countries since 2017. And the medical cannabis industry has been growing ever since then. But now you see many countries really pushing for full legalization. Germany has committed to doing so. They have plans to have it at the latest, the beginning of 2024. Um, Poland and the Czech Republic are also trying to follow that timeline. There are discussions in Portugal, Spain, Italy, UK. Almost every country is looking at doing recreational or adult use. So it's really only a matter of time before that happens. Also, in the U.S. and Canada, it also started with medical cannabis, and then the recreational or adult use comes later. So Europe's pretty much following that same pattern. So it is just a matter of time.
Yeah, thank you, Andy, for
Yeah.
helping me. So I hope these insights will help our viewers also, and they will explore new job opportunities in the cannabis industry. So thank you, everyone, for joining this session, and thank you, Andy, once again for joining this event.
Yeah. Thank you.